Where am I from? I'm from Zhongli. Zhongli's my home. Hi, I'm Lucy, and today I'm going to talk about how I ended up in Zhongli. So if you like the video, please click like and share and subscribe. And I want to explain how I ended up in Zhongli, which goes with how I ended up in Taiwan. So you can go back and watch that video, and this one might make a little more sense. So basically, I have been asked this so many times, and the response is never, oh, okay. I am always met with the same distaste, the same confused look of, huh? Zhongli? Why? How did you end up in Zhongli? And so I thought I would share how I ended up in Zhongli and why I stayed. So the people that had invited me to come to Zhongli had given me the address. And while they'd told me a lot about Taiwan in general, they hadn't really gone into depth about their area. They'd mentioned that it was a concrete jungle. And honestly, I had never heard the term before. I was quite young. And I thought, okay, concrete jungle. I think I focused more on the jungle than the concrete. I thought there was going to be city and jungle. Well, that is not what that means, and I learned that pretty quickly because when I got out of the taxi in Zhongli, I was horrified. I'm so sorry, Zhongli people. I was horrified. Everything was grey. Everything was grey. The floor was grey. The walls were grey, the buildings were grey, even the sky was grey, and I cried. I remember standing on the street corner, crying with my backpack. I couldn't believe that I had made this decision. I couldn't believe that this was my destination. But one of the girls came running out of her apartment. She was like, come in. And she kindly gave me her spare room, and she took such good care of me. Oh my goodness, I would never have survived without her. I had come here with no plan, with no understanding, with no experience of living abroad, and she showed me the ropes wonderfully. So obviously, after getting out of the airport, and being met with this blazing heat and only seeing the freeway, and then the grey drabbiness of Zhongli's back streets, I wasn't that keen on staying. I was like, this isn't gonna last long. But that's obviously not how things went down. I've always felt when I've travelled that the best part of the country, what really draws me in and makes me love the country, isn't necessarily the architecture or the views. It tends to be the people. And this situation was really strange because I didn't have many Taiwanese friends in my first months in Taiwan. When I first got here, obviously, I came with a group of foreigners. I came and I lived with them. I was in my own bubble. I'd never really met people who were living somewhere and building a life somewhere temporarily with the idea that in 2 years you can just go home. This doesn't have to be a career, but it can be your life and experience for a while, that you don't have to commit forever. It's something that I had never considered before. I'd never considered living abroad for a period of time. And so I found these people really intriguing, and I was so caught up in their way of life. I was seeing Zhongli through a foreigner's eyes. They showed me where all the restaurants were that had English menus. They showed me where the 7-Eleven was that all the foreigners go to get their phone credit topped up. As soon as you walked in, they knew what you were going to ask and helped you. They showed me how to ride a scooter. I'd never even thought of riding a scooter before, but they sat me on and they showed me where all the parts were. And then I had independence in travel and I didn't have to taxi or take the train so much. They showed me where the supermarkets were that had more Western option foods. And they showed me the bars where all the foreigners hung out and nobody was going to panic when you walked in. And at that time, Zhongli didn't have loads and loads of foreigners, so you still definitely stood out. There were places that you were not more welcome, because I know we're welcome everywhere, but where you knew people weren't intimidated by a big group of foreigners coming in. And I know so many people are gonna watch this and say that I'm really rude, that if you go to a country, you should learn about the country and respect it. And I totally agree, and I did get there eventually. But when I first came, it really was so overwhelming, and I was so happy to have come here with a group of friends already, and I can't even explain how well they took care of me. They really did show me a lot. They took me on the scooter, they showed me dashy mountains, they showed me the cobble streets, where to buy the cutest clothes, they showed me the train station and how to get my tickets. They showed me the night market. They showed me the streets, the tea shops. They showed me how to enjoy all of those things as an outsider. So I still got to enjoy it. And at that time, Zhongli had some wild, wild times. Oh my goodness, we had the most amazing times. It was such a fun time. Zhongli, while it was grey, it was so much fun. And then because I loved it so much, because I found comfort in it, I didn't want to leave. I've got my friends and my comforts and my familiarity, and I don't want to leave it and start it again somewhere else. So I kind of just stayed in Zhongli because Zhongli had become my home, and it has progressed a lot over the years. It really has. It's much less grey. And eventually I did move to New Taipei, and now I've moved back closer. But I think for me, Zhongli will always be my home in Taiwan. I have so many fond memories, and I've had so many good experiences there that while Zhongli is known as the armpit of Taiwan to many, I love it. I know it's got its downfalls, but there are lots of good things about Zhongli too. So that is how I ended up in Zhongli and why I stayed. If you have any opinions on Zhongli, then please let me know. If you've had any good experiences in Zhongli or bad, hopefully not too many bad experiences, but leave me a comment and let me know. And if you liked the video, please remember to click like and share and subscribe, of course. And I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.